Welcome to another stream. Today is refactoring, I think. Unless I come up with something better. So yeah. That's what we'll be doing. Oh gosh. Conifer sent me this. What is his caption? But you can do it too, unit of time though. I'm not gonna read this out loud. Big sweat droplets form on forehead. Nosebleed. I love it. I love these. I love reading those. I don't know why. I'm just a huge fan. Refactor goes exactly. I had to open up the queue of memes that Conifer leaves for me every morning. Functional programmers are like the vegans of programming. That's actually pretty clever. I like that. Have you heard about functional programming? Uh-oh. I don't see Go on here. That's kind of weird. You should totally just switch to Golang for refactoring day. I don't have Golang. That's the editor, right? Java? I guess once like Notch made Minecraft, there's a few games made in Java, so I can see it. C Sharp's obviously super popular. Lua? Oh, I guess this is the most popular. I guess that makes sense. Whatever, I'll take it. It only costs a bit of money. Oh, it costs money? What year is it? I thought software was all free. I thought software had to be free. I thought it was a government requirement. I changed my hand cam a little bit. Do you like it better or worse? No ball pit. Still sad. That'll have to be on us. That'll have to be a special day. We'll do the ball pit stream. I'll do the ball pit stream. I don't even know. That would probably be really comfortable to program in. I'd have to buy a lot of ball pit balls. I wonder how much those cost. Sorry, I can't bring this over because they probably would know they know my address and from my IP address. Toddler's crush proof. How many balls is this though? Non-toxic crush proof play ball pit balls. $60. Oh, it's $14 for 100 balls. How many balls do you think I need to be comfortable? You should do it on New Year's, because why not? It'd be so hard to. I'd have to do it. I think I'd have to code on a laptop though. I guess actually I could take these keys pretty easily to these keyboards and put them anywhere. I'll open this. I think there's probably a formula for it. For how many ball pit balls you need. I'd have to buy something to put them in, maybe like a mini pool. It being the amount of balls you would need. Yes, I concur. All right, does this run? Let's see. One thing I know we have is this actually. Somehow this got cut off. So let's fix that first, I guess. I don't know if that's a sprite thing or what. Just put it on the floor and then code on the floor like real chads do. I don't know. I feel very uncomfortable when I'm not at a desk coding. Like some people program from their bed. Once upon a time, I would lay on a couch with a laptop on my chest and code that way, and that was pretty nice. Just really like you can't do it for that long, but I know some people lay on their stomach and code, and it's like, geez, just how? I'll wear my what do they call them? Those thigh high socks too. My programming socks on that day. Laptop on chest, 90-degree neck position. No, it's more like you do like 45 or so. You have like the armrest of the chest, you know, and then you put your head on that, so your head's like a little bit propped up, and then the you just are looking down the whole time. You're looking like way down. You maybe put like a pillow on your chest to put your laptop a little bit higher. You don't have as sharp of an angle. Oh, you know what I mean. You get the picture. What was I gonna do? Oh yeah, in the app, in the client, in the ASC. I guess we should just open it up here, huh? Let's get there. We will look at UI. Wonder if someone has done VR coding before. That's interesting. There you go. That's the problem. I don't know why this got messed up. How would you do that? They'd have to have really good finger detection. Because like the difference between this and this is very small. Or you just use VR to look at your... Wait, does the VR control your keyboard, or you just see a screen? Oh, just VR for monitor. Imagine like this is like hooked into your chair, so you can swivel around, and you're just sitting there in a VR headset. You could have so many windows open, and whichever one you're looking at, that's the one you're programming in. That would be nice. That's a great idea. Using the spoon board? Yep. Now we're talking. Now we're cooking with gas. That sounds pretty good to me. All right. Go generate. What? Oh. Dot dot. Dot 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 dot. What is going on today? I feel so discombobulated today. I'll just type it out. So dumb. Okay. Look at that fix. Easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. What have you been up to, TLK? How's school going? You getting good grades? Are you studying hard? I don't really know how I want to start this refactor. I kind of want to do a networking refactor, but I also don't know. School's going fine, I guess. Not sure about my grades. Kind of messed up the last few tests. Yeah, I gotcha. It happens. What's your hardest subject? Like, what's the one you least like? I guess if you like programming, you probably like math too. That's how I was. I feel like English was usually my least favorite subject. Anything related to art, I love math. Yeah, same. It's too interpretable. And it's like if you don't have the interpretation that the teacher had, then you're wrong. So I don't know if interpretable is a word, but there's a lot of reading retention, which I wasn't very good at when I was growing up. Just in time art. What does that mean? I've never heard that before. Oh, I like it though. Is that a term, or you just make that up? Because it sounds like something. Jit art, or maybe you're saying jit. Maybe I'm reading too much into your thing. Oh, interpretation. My head goes to jit. Gotcha. Good morning, Vietnam. Love the smell of napalm in the morning. How you doing, Jomi? Hmm. Doing good. You? Yeah, I'm also doing good. I'm feeling very tired today. Hence, I like really haven't done anything. Actually, we already fixed one bug. Let me show you. I can procrastinate a little bit more. The sprite was cut off, so I fixed the sprite, and that's it. So you ran some RMRF on node modules. Must feel good. That must be Jomi. Cause I don't use JavaScript. Feels very good. I guess let's do networking. I don't know. Ow. 5.3 gigabytes? Oh my gosh. That's an enormous amount. Like, that's ridiculous. Actually, let's start with client. Let's just do some client refactoring. App, client. Oh yeah, client.go. Let me get rid of this check function. This is a bad practice in my opinion. It only saves you a little bit of lines too. Not gonna lie, at this point, I probably have 10 gigabytes of code, 10 gigabytes worth of node modules because I keep cloning the same repo to different repos and doing npm install on all of them. Yeah, that happens. I think Go does a global, they have a global thing. Bad practice in your own project? Yep. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. We could also try to do the add the interpolate positions back. That could be interesting. Is there a lot of stuttering when you guys go on the website? Let me do this. I feel like I want to fix it for good though. I don't want to just add, I guess I'll always have interpolation, won't I? I hate this. I have to like uncomment. Oh, I guess it won't, still won't find it. I guess we'll just go there. It like won't find the position. Language server won't find it if I try to find definition on this. I think it's like commented out. And then it opens up this other buffer that I have to go kill. A lot of stutter? Okay. All right, we'll make that the title. That's what we're doing next. Network interpolation. Nice. Don't feel any stutter? Really? What defines stutter at this point? Well, I'll let me do a little test and then we'll see. Cool. Let me open a terminal. I'm just gonna change my networking settings to add lag. Wait, but that won't add it for you guys, I don't think, because it'll do on localhost. Might be my computer then. Well, I'll run this to simulate across the Great Pond. Like there's a workspace MMO CMD make file lag international, and this will do it on localhost. Yeah. So do make lag international. Okay, let me do it in a buffer. Added lag. Exactly. That'll be my change log for the commit. Added lag. You guys just run the sketchy IP tables and traffic control on your computer. I promise it won't do anything. What's up, not unknown? How you doing today? Everything's good over here. Let's see, sudo, run this thing. All right, now there should be lag. Yeah, see that long connect time? Look at that stutter. We can simulate international lag, and specifically what it'll be is 200 millisecond delay. I think this is jitter, 40 millisecond jitter, So like it'll spike from between 240 to 160, then 25% packet loss, and this is really the killer. Then, so this is where, if you have a lot of packet loss, using UDP is better. Because TCP is gonna, because what happens is you have this stream of data that's forced to get it to the TCP packet. So there's a lot of retries that have to happen before newer data can get there. Because games are very like, just give me the latest data. You don't really need all the data in between. You can you can lose a lot of packets and just snap to the destination location. Actually, loss might be 15.3. 25% duplicates. That's if like the same retry packet gets sent from both sides, from like two different paths. Like a path goes down, so they have to duplicate the packet, send it across. 1% gets corrupted. Or no, I guess this is what it is. 0.1% corrupted. Duplicated 1%. Loss? I don't really know. I don't remember this command. Reorder? Yeah. Awesome topic today. Can you explain how you're going to do interpolation via networking? So you don't really do any interpolation via networking. All you have to do is, let me do a little drawing. Well, I guess I'm not really sure what I'm gonna draw here. Let me think really quick. Let me think how to explain this. Imagine this circle's like the game state, and then as you go across the x-axis, the game state's changing, you know? Let's say that this is the server. So on the server, that's like the actual game state. So that's kind of the authority on what the actual game state is. And then on the client, like a particular client, on a particular client, he has its own game state of what he thinks the world looks like. And he's trying to like, he's constantly trying to predict where his position is based off of player input. And he's sending his input to the server, but there's some amount of lag that it takes to get that input. But he gives his input to the circle calculates on it and then sends it back. Sends back like the tick. So there's some amount of round trip that it takes to get to that point. So at this point, he's trying to predict where his new position is, and then the server is going to say, actually, your position is over here. Like this is the actual game state, and this is what you thought it was. So then you have a bunch of you have a bunch of entities which are in the wrong spots. So I'm literally just going to like interpolate those positions slowly. Like what you can do, you can either snap them or you can wait, do you see how it snaps? It'll just be rubber banding now. This is probably way worse than anybody could possibly get though. So there'll just be rubber banding as you get different updates. Do you know some material to study on networking? Yeah, if you look at let me see. This guy's got really good articles on game networking. Or maybe I should have gone here. He's got a lot of really good articles regardless. I'll just link his website. He's got a lot of stuff that I learned. There's also this book I bought called like Multiplayer Game Networking, which is also pretty good too. I think this stuff's probably better though. Like most of the game networking stuff I learned from this. There's yeah. Where is it? Networked physics, maybe? Um, but he's got a lot of good animations and stuff too. I don't, yeah. It's really good articles. Yeah, and of course we're on TCP. In the previous article, I'm sure you can see why we would never consider sending snapshots over TCP. Oh. Unfortunately, we have to because we're doing WebSockets. But another time we'll have to do UDP. Because that goes, because like what happens, I think, is the input gets stuck, and then the server moves you way over here, and then you snap back because it gets stuck again. It's like whether or not, it's like when the server gets the input or not. So it'll move until it releases. So the server is just going to keep you walking over here. That's why you get rubber banding, because they usually have some amount of interpolation in there. We'll do that with Lag International, see how it looks. We'll do a little side by side comparison maybe. Sprite maybe. Morning JJ, how's it going? Let's go to the client code. I think I did, I don't remember if sprites had a position, but I shouldn't attach a position to sprites. What I need to have is I need to have like, how's the network code going? It's going pretty good. I just started, originally I was going to do refactoring today, and then I adapted because I wasn't really sure what to refactor, to be honest, because my code's perfect. I have flawless code. Just kidding. What is this? This is my old code where I read the physics position. Oh, I was using pixel back then. Interesting. Well, we have a transform. Sprite position. So the thing is I need to have a component that is different than the physics position, because you have to have two things that you interpolate between. You have to have like you have to, like, I have to have what I'm showing the player, and I have to have what I think the reality is. The thing I didn't really talk about with this is that what you should do, like when you have these really big lags, like you're sending input every single time, right? So like once you get this physics update here, you might have already sent, or I'm trying to, is this right? Well, like he gives you this position, but he's telling you, like, it's weird. He tells you over here that the position, what the position is here. So he's saying like this is 1, this is 2, these are ticks. So this is the second tick. So actually there's a 1 frame lag here where you sent an input based off of a state you didn't think. So what you should do is you should replay. Like you should save you should save an input buffer of the different ticks. Sorry, this is on the client side. Let me go to blue. You should save an input buffer. This is tick 1. This is just a queue. 3, that's the next number. And then it's 4. Is it 5? What's after 5? I think it's probably 6. I'm just kidding. But you should save your inputs in a buffer, and then once you get a physics update coming in, like let's say you're here on this frame and you get the physics update for like frame 2, what you should do is you should apply your physics update and then reapply these ones. Does that make sense? Like the server told you where physics tick 2 is. So if you just replay from this point, which is the easiest thing, if you just play from this point, you're going to be in the wrong position because your physics input for 2 and 3 are going to be wrong. So you need to reapply some of them. But it definitely, like, if it's giving you the physics tick for 2, then it definitely hasn't gotten this one. Because you sent the physics tick for 2. And the physics tick for 2 is going to arrive after the physics tick for 2 was calculated on the server. So the earliest it could get there is before the physics tick for 3, but that would be, you'd have a really low ping for that. Yeah, you're basically resyncing. Kind of. It's like you usually have like a replay buffer. So I don't know if we'll get to adding this today, but you basically have to recompute your new position based off of that. I've done another diagram of this before, I think, in an old stream a while ago, but. So we'll do the interpolation first, but the key to interpolation is you have to have, like, if this is the client's world view, and you think you're here, like you calculated here, but the server says, oh, you're actually here, then you just need to slowly interpolate yourself. So that means you have to have a position where you think things are, and then the position where the server tells things are. So I have this transform, which is something that's getting, that needs to be split up into 2 sides. So I don't know if I think I'm gonna keep transform as the server computed. That way when you calculate collisions and stuff like that, it'll be the actual thing. So I think transform this will be the like, this will be the actual transform. I'll maybe make another one that's called like predicted transform or something like that. Maybe rendering the server player on the client. Maybe rendering the server player on the client may give you a better idea of what's happening. What do you mean? What do you mean by rendering? I already have an interpolate function, I guess. Do I? I do. I think I made a whole package for interpolation. Bro, what is that keyboard? Do you like it? It's called the Iris 5, I think. From Key.io. I don't know. It's pretty nice. I like it. It's an ortholinear split though, and then you got thumb buttons. So I have like enter over here, space over here, and then you have like layer keys. So these ones specifically are for layers, and then this is the super key, which is also like the Windows key, and this is the alt key. And then there's just a few, like the buttons are moved from the pinky to here basically, except for like control, or this is shift, this is control, which is where caps lock would be, and this is tab. Is it nice to type on? Yeah, I mean it's a mechanical keyboard, so typing's nice. It's not staggered like normal keyboards are. This guy's kind of dusty, but I'm sure you can see. I'm hoping you can see that. I don't see my camera on my screen, but see how these are staggered? So when you type this way, you usually reach like this. These ones are straight up and down. So that part got some. I had to get used to that a little bit. So I don't think the ortholinear part's really that nice. The split part's really nice though, because like normally what happens is you have to like crunch your shoulders together to like type like this. So this keeps you more like postured, or that's the idea. That part's nice. I also really like the thumb buttons. Those are the 2 big benefits. I think I fat finger stuff less on this type of keyboard though, because there's more awkward angles. Everything's much more like up and down here. So you moved to Australia? Why is that? Why do you think I moved to Australia? I probably said something I didn't even, the angle of what? Oh, of the camera? Is it too terrible? Is it bad? I was trying, like I spent a lot of time this morning trying to get my camera positioned somewhere nice, but it's so hard. Because I think the perfect place for it is like just straight up here, but there's nothing to hold on to up there. So this is like right below my monitor. So it's actually like, I should take a picture of it because it's super goofy looking, but it's like underneath my monitor, and then it's upside down, and then I flipped it in OBS. Is it bad? I can try to fix it for next time. You should get a wide angle lens and do some voodoo magic to make it look like it's on top. Yeah. Yeah, it's like a really cheap webcam. I thought about getting like a GoPro. Those seem like pretty good cameras, and also you can like I guess I don't know how, I'd have to buy something to pull in the HDMI probably, but the problem is like the perfect spot for it's like straight up from here. And then it's just like looking straight down. But that'd be perfect because you guys can see my hand. I do a lot of hand gestures when I talk, so you can see my hands do like weird stuff. I know you see the shadows on this, which maybe looks kind of like weird, but like this is like it's just really tight. So I don't really like where it is right now. And when it was on the side, like way over here, it was just too tight. A Canon 1DX, yeah. Once I'm a big timer, then I'll buy a nice camera. But for now, I'll just buy a GoPro that has no battery life or something and have it plugged in all the time. The weird thing here though is that I'm gonna be having to draw. Hmm. With a nice lens. Wait, screw that. I don't even know what camera this is. I don't know like anything about cameras. I can't. Oh, yeah. It sucks that they'll just say where I am on these shopping sites. That's $2,000. Yeah, and that's no lens. Why don't you just shoot on film? Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. I like when they say like, "Hey, we have a bunch of cookies," and then it's like, "What do you want to do with them?" And it's like deny all. It's like, okay, block all cookies. That sounds good. I should shoot on film. How would you even automatically convert that? You couldn't, right? I shoot on film, and then a roll gets created, and then I give it to a guy who's constantly just um, like scanning the film, turning it into like pictures on a computer and uploading them. And he's just there with a slideshow, just like clicking through it as he finishes processing the photos. I don't think it would have an HDMI port. I think some GoPros have HDMI ports. Not all GoPro models have HDMI port. Yeah. So I'd probably get one that has one like this. But GoPros are kind of expensive. And I'm super cheap, so we'll have to see how it does. You just roll the film straight out of the camera and read it on whatever and translate that to video and stream it on your computer. Interesting. What happens when I need to swap out the film though? What kind of keyboard is this? This is a KeyBio makes it, and it's called an Iris 6, I think. There's a bunch of different versions. It might be an Iris 5. I don't remember the version, but it's an Iris keyboard. Then you do Steam Locomotive. Changing the film. Yeah, I'm like reaching over, like popping out my film cartridge, putting it in the processor. All right, guys, you'll get to see the last 30 seconds of me typing. But it is in 4K, so. Actually, I wonder what the resolution on film can be. $8K. I'm gonna make a type that's a render transform. Let's go look at physics transform. I'm just gonna make it a physics transform. In the case of large format, 4 by 5 inch films can record approximately 298.7 million pixels. Poor optical quality of lenses will decrease the resolving potential of a film emulsion. Interesting. Imagine filming with VHS quality and using a device to upload the tape from cassette to PC. Yeah, that sounds pretty nasty. I wonder if I make one type that has a transform and a I think the thing is that everything should use the physics transform, except for the weird part is I'd have to use the render transform when I'm doing anything that's like UI interactions. You want to click on somebody, then you have to use the UI one. That and drawing. But we'll have a render transform too. That's gonna be this. This one actually doesn't need a physics transform anymore. Actually, this is gonna be confusing though. I have to change all of my sprite drawing stuff to use a render transform, which I'm not a huge fan of. Well, it's just a very just because this is my like library, and a lot of functions might use this draw sprites function, for example. But first we'll do the interpolation, then we'll decide how to break up the then we'll decide how to break up the thing. Okay. It's funny that this interpolation happens on I'm trying to think. It's weird because interpolations usually happen like there's a time scale where you do like this is 0, This is 1, and this is the starting state, and this is the ending state, and then you slowly increase time, and you interpolate over that. So I almost need to have some kind of, it's just weird because maybe what I do is this. I leave physics transform the exact same and how it's used everywhere. And then instead of making a render transform, I make like a network, like a last position red. And then after that, it's basically you get to decide how you want to apply the last position red to a physics transform. So you might interpolate it and things like that. So when you're not interpolating the sprite positions, you're literally interpolating the physics transform that you have locally with one that got passed in. I think that that's probably the right way to do this. So I'm going to move this out of the render section. I'm going to put it into, let's look at MMO client. I have a client package here, which has a lot of these client systems in it. And it has specifically the ones that read stuff in. So this is the network channel. This is what stuff comes over. So right now when I get world updates, oh, this is sending. When I receive a world update, I'm gonna go make another cup of coffee, I think, and then I'll read this. What does this do? Comp slice. I basically need special handling. Oh, this is sending it over the network channel. Oh, so I need the other side of this. Oh, no, I can't, because the other side of this is actually here is here, and all this does is update components for each entity. Let me make coffee. I'll be right back. All right, coffee's brewing. I was thinking actually that I might do a data type that's like can't be a unit stream without coffee. Exactly. I was thinking I'd make a data type which is this list. So for everything, for everything that you receive over the network, you'd end up storing it in a buffer. And these would be different transforms. These would be different transforms. And these are per tick. I really should also send the tick number in these messages from the server. And then the tick number can be used to determine the position that you put these in. And then you always have the last position. And the size of this is determined by, I guess, how much data you might need. But you'll always have the last position and the next position. Then you'll interpolate these based off of I don't know. I guess it should be interpolated based off of, I guess, whatever looks good, probably. The only problem is you might get like, let's say you're here and you're interpolating these, and like you move yourself here, and then you get this update. Well, now it's going to interpolate you between these two, so you'll get automatically snapped there. But what should happen is you should start getting interpolated this way. I guess I don't need a buffer. I think this is where the buffer is useful, is for stuff you send, not the stuff you receive. So I think I'll just have the current transform, and this is what the physics transform is going to be that the player's using. Then you have the next transform that you're moving towards. And I think that'll work. So this basically means that when we go through our component slice, we get a world update message from the server. We go through our component slice, we do a type switch. We'll also look for physics.transforms for this this is for, wait a second. I should make sure I'm reading this properly. Player data.id. Oh, because this is only getting the player's position. So this will fix stuttering on just the player, which we don't really want that. We want to fix it on we basically need to go through the world update. Let's go look at that type really quick, just so we can have a reference point. We want to go through the world update, and then go through every single ECS ID, find all the components in this slice that are the physics transform, and for the ones that are the physics transform, we want to add another component to the slice that's like next physics, or we want to change the physics transform to be like next physics transform, if that makes sense. So we'll change it, instead of writing to this slot, because ignore these. Basically, we'll have the last, we'll have the next. Instead of writing to this slot, which is the current one we're using, or this is really current, we're gonna just write it to the next position, and then the current's just gonna constantly be interpolating to the next position. we'll do that. So we have a world update. We have a component slice. Pull out, I'm just gonna label these really quickly. Pull out speech. Or player ID. Otherwise, actually we'll just write it from scratch. For comp slice in range t.world data. Yeah, so it's going to loop through all of the entity IDs, and then it's going to be the component slice. So I'll have a bunch of component slices, and they'll do for IC in range comp slice. We will do so we're going to replace that slot. Like we have this array of components. We're going to replace the component that is the physics transform with like the next physics transform. Let's go to the game folder. No, we want to go to client. Client. Oh, I'm already in this one. Type next. I want to make a next transform, and that's just going to be a physics transform. I think when I compose like this, it'll let me do, or no, I can just do this actually. It just is that. And then I can do next transform dot blah, 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 blah. Where blah, 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 blah is like pull out the X, pull out the Y. Okay. I don't know where I wrote ECS.C. Oh, we'll do next transform. We're just gonna typecast this. Oh, this is where we need like a type assert. I don't like that I have to do stuff like this. Let's comment these really quickly. So this will make T the transform. We'll just cast this T to next transform. And we'll set component slice to ECS.C. This boxes it effectively. Next transform. And it replaces the T component with a next transform component in that same slice index. So now I'm not going to be getting physics transform updates. I'm going to be getting next physics transform updates, basically. Let's give it a run. It's probably not going to work. Can I convert? Variable type comp box physics transform. Oh, I need to do that get. That'll get it. That'll unbox it basically. Undefined, interpolate sprite positions. We don't need this anymore. Okay, so now nothing should move. Oh, we still have the lag enabled. Yeah, nothing's moving because we're not getting the physics transforms back. We also have some crazy lag. So now we need a system on the client. Upside down fingers, yeah. I was trying to reposition my camera and This happened. Unit of caffeine addict. Oh, I do need to get my coffee. Thanks for reminding me. I'll be right back. Look, Ma, no hands. Unit of no hands. I like that. Nice cup of joe. Yeah, I was trying to come up with a good place to put the camera, but I still haven't really figured it out. Because the problem is my mic is like right here. Like if you see my hand going straight up from this point is my mic. So I can't really like put my camera above that to look straight down because then it would look at my mic. But I think ideally would be like, you guys can't see it, but straight up from this point above the because right now it's below my monitor. I think it'd be perfect if it was above my monitor and looking down. I'll just I'll have to come up with a way to mount that though. Above the monitor, yes. I'll have to zoom in big time. I believe that's called your webcam. Yeah, the problem is because I have a webcam. I have a webcam, but it's like it doesn't look down like that, you know? Can't you crop? What do you mean? Yeah, oh, you mean like if I put it straight above? I just think it would still catch my mic in the picture, or I'd have to put my keys like really far in, which I could totally do. It's just now I have to reach really far on my desk. I like having my wrist right on the edge. Or I could just put it on my head. I could put like a mask on that has my webcam pointed straight down. But even this picture that you guys see here is like very heavily cropped. What if we did this? Just half my screen is my webcam. You guys can never see. You guys can never see. I'll have to typo way up here. You guys can't see what I'm typing now, can you? Only the important part, exactly. We'll put you back. We'll put you back. I think that's a good distance because most of my text doesn't go that far across. Or that far down either. I usually type in the middle of the screen. What was I doing? Oh yeah. I was doing interpolation. I think I'm gonna do it in the render system. Oh, sorry, I missed your message, show me. Finally fixed my game to use my new ECS. Nice. Your new ECS is looking pretty promising. Especially its speed, massive speed boost. You have to work on the entities being deleted, but other than that, I mean, it's a somewhat rare thing, I think. It's also something that's not as hard to deal with, I think, because you can just pool it and like slide stuff around in your arrays, and you can keep them pretty tightly packed. Nicer API and faster. Nice. I don't know the answer to that one, JJ. Let's see. Not in the input systems. Actually, yeah, maybe we put it right here. But instead of calling this function, we're just going to write a little script here. And this is going to take in a byte, and it's going to take a I called it next transform, I think. Yeah, next transform. Because I'm already in the same. This is app client. This is MMO client. Let's make sure that compiles. This needs to be a map 2. Gotta love Go. No overloading for us. For my game right now, I don't need to remove a lot of entities, so I'll just ignore that for now. Yeah, that's totally fine. Unit structs will still segfault, but I replace them by a flags enum. And the derive component macro won't allow unit structs now. Nice. Overloading requires so much IDE integration to be useful, so I can see why I denied it. Yeah. No overloading in Rust? I guess I don't really need, you can do overloading with macros, gotcha. I don't really need overloading. I just need like Veratic generics. Like I don't want to. I never want to write the same. I never want to write a different function. But it would be nice to write a generic function like this, ECS map, and have it work with different amounts of these. So it's honestly not that bad, because like to do this. Veratic generics would be nice, yeah. Or I think it's like Variatic. I don't really know how you pronounce it. I always say Veratic. Would I get a job with Go? Yeah, I would be fine doing Go as a job. I've never worked with Go in the professional setting before though, so. But I'm trying to avoid getting a job for as long as I can, so we'll see how that goes. Go seems like a perfect work length, yeah. Well, it's like small enough to where like I could probably read like anybody's code and be like, it's hard to enterpriseify Go, yeah. I feel like I could read anybody's Go code and be like, I kind of understand what you're doing. But I just have a macro that generates query 1, query 2, query 3. Gotcha, yeah. I would be fine with I'd be fine with generating my ECS. The only problem is that if you make a library that's got some some code generation point to it, you have to regenerate it into another package to be consumed. Or you have to have I can understand anyone's code feels like imposter syndrome because people who do enterprise Java have the same feeling, right? I just feel like Go has less like weird stuff in it that would be hard to read. Like there's just less weird language features. Like when I was reading Java and when I read like JavaScript and stuff like that, there's a bunch of these like like map like x2 does like something here, and like it's like where does this type come from, like where does that type come from, and it's like oh those are kind of like implicitly typed. There's a draft RFC for variadic templates in Rust. There's also a cool nightly feature called const generics. What's const generics? I feel like variadic generics would be I doubt Go is going to implement them. That's where like, you know how you have like variadic functions or like format, you do like A, B, C, and like when they have the func, it's like func, what is it? Or it's like that. Like that's the func signature. That's like a variadic, those are variadic arguments. So it's that sort of concept, but for generics. I don't really know what they would, I'm sure somebody's opened a proposal that says like, oh, variadic to generics. I wonder what people have said about it though. I don't know how you'd specify that in Go. Maybe you do like or something like that. Would it be it's basically, or it's this. This specifies, or var is a bad name because those are like the variables. This says that it has to be the last argument. It has to be the last argument, and this can expand to as many as you want to pass in. Oops. So it's like dot dot dot, then the type, and then this implies that this is a slice of those things. Like that's how it's implemented. You end up treating this like a slice, but you can pass them in like this. So for stack allocated arrays, who always need to have the size known at compile time, you could now make a generic function like this. I think I can do this. We'll see if this works. We're gonna have to interpolate them on each axis anyways, so I'm just gonna do, I'm gonna write a function. No. I'm gonna do this, physics t.x. Eventually this will get replaced with eventually those will get replaced with interpolation lines. Uh-oh. Oh, because now when you log in, you don't have a you don't have a physics transform. So when I get a login response, I need to add one. Like that, like so. Sorry, I didn't have the chat on right, so I couldn't see your messages. Function like this, function myFunc_const in uSize array. Oh, I see. So the array would have the size of n. Interesting. That's kind of a cool idea. That lag. Beautiful. Okay, now we just need to interpolate these. I actually wrote an interp package already. Let me just pull that in. Flow interp. We'll do linear interpolation. How do I use this again? We'll do interp.linear. Where are you? I don't really know how to track this. I thought I had this. Once you move there, I guess once you get a new one, you want to reset the interpolation. You have your current transform, you have your next transform. And then I can do, actually I can just do this. It goes from physics_t.x, oops, linear dot, I think I'm at float 64. And then t is the value between, so we need to track something probably. I'm just gonna put 0.5 though. Whoops, forgot a comma here. It'll always be, it's gonna get snapped. I guess it's always gonna be halfway between the two positions now, which isn't what I want. I think when I do next transform, I should actually make that hold the interpolation value. All right, we'll do this. We'll change this to a struct. Oops, this needs to be I, and then this is going to be, I'm just gonna do X, Y, float 64. I wanna go to client. I wanna go to client. And then when I get the physics transform, client receive update. I'm gonna do this. This is just gonna pass in the that'll just pass in the physics transform. And it's gonna return a next transform. Return next transform. Interpolation is always going to be 0 because you're always going to start from, like, whenever you get assigned a new position, you're at a spot, and I'm going to interpolate that from where you were to where you are. Actually, I think actually if I do just 0.5, that'll be fine, because that'll just be the speed that I'm interpreting. Because what's going to happen is I'm going to do this. I didn't think about that. I'm gonna snap you there, or I'm gonna put you at like the half point. If I do 0.5, I'm gonna put you at the half point. And then now you're here, and now you're here, and now you're interpolating, you're gonna get the half point again. So you'll just like exponentially go in. Let's try that. Let's just see how it looks. See how she does. Oops. Now it's a little bit smoother. You're not snapping all around. But there is still a lot of lag. Let's play around with this interp value though. That's some really smooth lag. Thanks, buddy. I put something into Discord I just found about constant generics, which is really powerful, which won't let you compile when you specify a generic argument which size is too big. Oops. Min slice. Exactly T, exactly in T's. Sometimes we want to limit the size of a variable, e.g. when we're using embedded environments, then const expressions will fit your needs. Check size. Sorry, I don't really know how to read this. O, I32. Are these values in the array? Assert? Where does this end? Quorum size of T. Check size of T. Is true is only implemented for assert true. So you can write like assert functions that check the size of things. Oh, it has to be less than 768. And I guess this is the size. Gotcha. I think I understand. It makes sense though. That's kind of cool. I don't do that much embedded programming anymore, but I guess I could see it if you wanted to restrict yourself. Let's see here. Oh. Oh yeah, I wanted to look at in client 0.5. Where are you? I really do need to reorganize this. I have so many client packages. It's terrible. This is the one though, right here. Feels a little too fast. This should probably be in a physics tick. Okay, Joey. Enjoy the store. Have a good day. Yep. You lucked out. You got Mohawk Eye. The very last one that you'll see. It's weird that the client prediction isn't working though. I guess because what's happening is you're trying to move, but you're interpolating back to where, like you're interpolating back to where the last place the server told you to go. Hmm. I think that's basically because I'm forcing you to interpolate always to this point. When you end up here and you're like moving this direction, you don't actually move because you're constantly being interpolated back. So what I need to do is I need to store the replay buffer. Hello kids. What's up, Conifer? I need to store the input buffer that the player has. And I need to reapply those. So then every time you get a physics tick, we'll just I really should add tick numbers here for this feature, I think. So you can reapply the correct ones. So let's add, Do I need tick numbers? I'm not gonna add tick numbers just yet because I really haven't thought that through too much. But I think what I'll do is every time you get one, no, I guess I do need tick numbers, don't I? Yeah, I get it. My cam's upside down. I fumbled it today. I was trying to move it around and make it like, I don't know, is this worse than it was before? I want it to be above, but I don't really have a spot to mount that. So I was kind of rushing this morning to try to get it set up. And I just kind of gave up and left it where it is. So here's where it is. Fondled? No, I fumbled. Fumble. I would never. Whew, close one. Oh boy. I could never. So I have to keep the physics and the client in sync. I guess this was inevitable, wasn't it? How are you, unit of seduction? I'm good. I'm very good. How are you today? Conifer of trees. You're at work? Nice. Sounds good. What do you guys think? UN64? It's very nice that you're at work. So you won't distract me for too long. U8 tick number? I guess let's do some math. So if you have a UN8, that's 256 ticks. Every tick is, let's say, 30. We're doing 30 hertz, so that's 1 divided by 30. So if you don't lag for more than 8 seconds, then you're fine with the UN8. Otherwise, you might get really confused with which tick it actually is. What's a max? I genuinely don't remember. 65535. That's right. Data ain't cheap. So this is 2000 seconds. That's 36 minutes. That's gonna be pretty good. No one's gonna lag for that long. We'll do UN16. Because this is just gonna wrap around. UN64 be overkill? Yeah, I probably agree. I would never hit that. I would never hit the max. I think it's okay to wrap around though, because what's gonna happen? Yeah, like I'm gonna have to have logic that says if the tick that you get sent is like way lower than the last one you received, then just like trust it. This will also be useful once we add UDP. We'll be able to know which ones are valid and which ones aren't. Why not 128? What is the max 128? I know that there's, I cannot remember the formula. What is it? It's like 2 to the 8 minus 1. Yeah, okay. So 2 to the 128. Holy. 2 to the 32. Whew. That's a lot. That's a big number. A lot of seconds. That's at 30 hertz, which is, I think 30 hertz is relatively fast for an MMO tick update. Now you know you're safe at high expanse. Yeah. The thing is like, it's really not that many more bits. It's just like not needed, I think. So we'll stick with this. I'm just gonna call it tick, because we don't need to clarify that it's the tick number. And so then when we're building the, we need to go to the network. Let's see here. Add proxy. What is this? Yeah, okay. We have serve proxy connection. This reads data in. When we make our world update, we just need to have a server tick uint16 world update. I'm gonna put it first. Tick server.tick. Yeah, I did put it first there. Okay, cool. So we'll add the server tick, and server.tick equals server.tick plus 1 modulo I don't know. I can't remember what it is. Math, Golang. I know it's in here. Max. Okay. This actually won't work. I don't know unsigned addition well enough to know if this is going to automatically wrap around on all architectures. Oops. I'm just gonna do -2. No, actually this will work, won't it? Because this is the maximum. So once we add up and we hit the maximum, we're gonna get wrapped to 0. So that's fine. I was thinking that this was gonna add to 1 above the maximum, then it's gonna wrap. No, it's gonna wrap to 0. That's good. So then, why did I do this? Oh yeah, because we need to track the tick numbers so that we can track the input that we're sending for each tick. So when we get a world update, we need to track that on the client side now. That wallpaper. Yeah, look at that flamethrower, dude. Where did I see that one before? Probably on my screen. I use this there's this like Arch package or some KDE package or something like that that it's from that dude I shared. Well, mine just it just rotates through people or through this one guy's art. So you have client render in before anti-wallpaper. I enable that one back on once you guys leave. Once I turn off my stream, I switch back to my normal wallpaper. So yeah. So client receive, we get a world update here, so we can track the tick now. It's not really player data, but I don't really want to put tick in this, to be honest. I guess it's not the end of the world. It does need to be read from 2 different threads, so I guess I do need to synchronize it somehow. It's just a different, technically it doesn't need to share the same mutex, but or we'll just do this. How about this, guys? Replace string ID with uint16. Whoops, I did that wrong. Set ID with tick. And then these we just do this. Tick, tick, tick. And this is tick. Okay. So we need to add some data type here, which is tick. Okay. That's available now. So we'll set the player tick based off of the client tick. And then the next part is we need to be tracking this replay buffer, which might be kind of hard. I guess when I get player input, I'm realizing that like a lot of this code that I was trying to share originally, like flow, where's the render, input, like I have these input systems But like these don't work when you try to do stuff slightly differently. Where is this one? Oh, this one's in, no, it's not. It's an input. No, I guess it's in sprite. Oh, capture input, here we go. Like this works, but if I want to like take this input, append it to a buffer, and then use it differently, like I can't use this system now. So like a lot of this stuff that I was like kind of relying on is just not gonna work. But I think that that's like, I think every game's gonna have to do it differently anyway, so I don't really know if there's a good way to reuse this code. I think it's hard to make generic systems. I think it would be easy to make generic functions and then create systems out of those functions. Like basically make a library and then make a system that uses those library functions to do something complicated. I think that's fine, but I think that organizing stuff like I've done in the past, where I write like systems like this, I don't think that's very reusable. Just because now if I want to use this one, like this works, and then I'd have to have a system after this, I guess, that takes the input, and this one's already very like hard coded for the MMO anyways. Because I'm literally like, oh, if keybinds dot left, right, up, down. But I could have a system after this which takes the input and puts it into the buffer for the current tick. It's awkward though, because like if you have a lot of lag, or if you have any lag at all really, probably be great to add an input library that you can easily assign keybinds to. Yeah, like I should be organizing stuff like that rather than have, so later on you can have users define their keybinds. Yeah, exactly. I'd rather have libraries that are usable rather than like rather than stuff that's locked into my ECS. Because it's pretty easy if you have like a library, it's pretty easy to like wrap that in a system and like build components out of it and stuff like that. Yeah, and you can reuse it in your single player games, exactly. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna try to make this more like libraries rather than rather than like an ECS based thing. That's how it's trending at least. It's weird because I have two ticks. I have a tick that's on the server. I have this tick that was just told to me. I have this tick. And then I have the tick that I think it is, which is like 3. So when the server tells me a tick, solid approach, you'll save you a long time. Yeah, I agree. I think it's better too. Then if people don't want to use an ECS, they don't have to. Because right now, if they want to use my libraries, they have to use my ECSs. And I think a lot of this stuff, the only worry I have is like inlining. Like for example, draw sprites. Like I could just have a function that's like draws. You know, like right now I just have all the data and it's all very public. And it's like, oh, you want to draw it? There you go. Imagine using an ECS, ew. Exactly. But I just put this in a function and then it's like, oh, sprite.draw with this transform. And like voila. Then someone can easily do like, oh, I want to map all the sprites with the transforms and call draw on them all. And if they don't, then they have a piece of reference code they can copy paste to adjust it. The only downside with putting this into a function is that it might not get inlined, which means that you might waste some performance. Whereas these smaller functions being put in, like this one might get inlined, but if you put it all into one function, it might not get inlined. Ideally, this should all get inlined because this is like a fairly like, you know, you need to be kind of fast. But I don't have too much control over the Go compiler inlining stuff, unfortunately. One day. One day. Actually, it might not even be, I don't know. I don't really know the inlining rules that well, but this can't get inlined because it's a closure. This stuff inside the closure maybe can get inlined into the closure. Sorry I missed that part, preparing to sit on the toilet. Thanks for the thanks for that update. We really appreciate it. That was a nice one. A nice little piece of data to have. Nice good little piece of data. So I need to know when I record new keybinds, I need to use the server specified tick. But I need to keep incrementing that. So I need to have like the tick that the client thinks he's on. And that's the part I'm not really sure. Because when you're here, when you get this one, you think you're on 3. You think you're on 3. So you would say servers at 2, like you just got the update for that, but you were at 3, and then your next input would be at 4. And you might not get an update for that one. So the server tick would still be at 2. So you'd replay 2. Then you get 5. Let's say you get 3 here. Then you'd be at 3 and 5. Then this would be the buffer. This should be a queue data structure, because you want to constantly be cutting off stuff as you get ticks updates. So you basically need to track the tick that you're on. You need to track the tick that you're on and append stuff based off of that. I'm trying to think. Then when you get an update that says like, oh, here's 2, you can forget everything before 2. So you can cut off everything at the start before the number 2. And then you have your buffer still. And you just replay all of that. And you keep appending onto it. And then you get the next update, you cut off the next section. Like so. I think that works. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. Oh man, it's almost 10 or almost 10:30. Let's see. What can we get to today? So we've added the ticks. I'm gonna put this capture. I'm tempted to put this in. Let me do one thing before I forget. On here, I have this interpolate sprite positions, which is currently on the input. I don't want it there though. I want it on the physics tick. We'll put it here. Okay, so we'll interpolate the sprite position and then we'll send the input update. I think before, this is actually okay. It's not reusable for other projects, but that's okay. Because we're gonna have some input state. This will be store input or update input buffer. Because inputs aren't applied on render ticks, they're applied on physics ticks. So we'll have to have some input buffer. I probably need to add it to player data. Let's see here. It's weird because I have to do like we want to send the input. Oh geez. Client send update. Let's kill this. Oh, there it is. Like we read the input here, so we'll store it here. So we'll do player data. So we'll append this input for the input buffer. And then we'll go there. We'll make a function that does this. Because you're not going to have the input for anybody other than yourself. I think it's physics.input, right? Yeah, physics.input. So we'll lock. I think technically what I should be doing here is I should be deferring. So we'll append the input to the input buffer. We probably need to make another type for this that has what are we in? I'll call it player input. So we'll have player input, which tracks, this is just going to be tracks the player's input, the local players, local players input per each tick. So we'll have the tick number, and then we'll have the physics.input data type. Let's see here. So we get in, so we append the input. We need to make this player input. We can just get the tick now, p.tick. That's not the actual, that's not the right tick though. And then input is gonna be input. Because we don't want this tick, we want like the player tick. Maybe I'll rename this to server tick. I don't think I need this function. And every time you append, actually I'm trying to think. Because from my diagram, you have the last server tick, and then every time you append one, that's going to be another player tick. So whenever you set the tick, the only problem I'm thinking about, hold on, server tick. What I'm worried about though is that if you have this server tick here, and well, it's like you're tracking the player ticks, and then you get a server tick for 2. You can chop off everything before 2, but then I guess you just keep tracking based off of what you think you're at. I'm just trying to think if there are any weird like desynchronizations that happen. Like, should you ever snap back the we have all the ones you predicted, 2 to 6. I guess the player tick would just run independently. It just feels weird to not have it. Like, let's say you append a new one on. So now you append the 7th tick on, but you cut off that one. You cut off the 1 tick because you got an update for 2. So now you can replay this, and then you start appending on top of that. It's just like, how do you know that you are at the right tick, I guess? I just feel like there might be some, like this might just grow. I guess it'll only grow though if your lag keeps increasing. Because like if you get the tick for 5 now, it's gonna reslice again, and then you're just gonna have that. And these are happening on a physics tick, so it should be approximately right, I think. So we'll track the server tick then, and then we'll also track the player tick. And set tick will set the server tick. But here we want to track the player tick. But when we set the server tick, we can also this is where we would slice off. That's where we should slice. The weird thing is though, is that I guess you're guaranteed to have an incrementing number of ticks, right? So if you read the first one, you can find out what the very first player tick is, and then based off of that, I wonder if that's the case, then I shouldn't track this. I should just track the because this is always going to be incrementing, right? There's no case in which you miss a frame of input. So we're gonna have the I'm trying to think here. I guess I don't need to track this at all then, do I? Because what I can do is, when I set a tick, I need to do the slicing operation, right? And then I base all of my, whatever's in the input buffer is based off of the last server tick. So when you set a tick, we're gonna do, change this to defer. We have the last tick, p.server tick. So then all of our buffer is based off of that index. Like this one is, or we get to, I might be off by 1, but it'll be like, you'll cut it 1 past what you got your input for, or what you got the last server tick for. So now we want to slice this, and I think I need to do a copy here. This is where it'd be more efficient to use a queue. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do a copy. Because it's not like, when you have stuff on the client, it's really not that important for it to be super high performance. On the server, it's more important because you want to scale. But on a client, it's like, this is going to happen once per frame, which isn't that bad. But we want to slice off, or we can actually put this up here. So we have the tick now. We have the tick, which is the first index of the slice. And then we have the tick, and p.server tick is the tick that the server just sent. So we have this index, which would be 1, and we have this one, which is saying that we want to slice to 2. We just need to slice that delta. That'll be p.input buffer. We want to do I'm going to name this cut, and it's going to be p.server tick minus last tick. So last tick represents here. So if we're at, this would be our last tick would be 1 then. The last server tick we got was 1. And then we just got 2. So we want to slice off the 1, which would be 1. So it'd be 2 minus 1. And we're just going to cut off the front. And then we're going to do a copy. Can you copy to its own slice? The problem with doing this is this will just, the slice is just going to keep growing. So that's why a queue is nice, because we can just dequeue things until we hit the right number. Like we can just dequeue 5 times or something like that. We'll do p.input buffer equals p.input buffer with the front sliced off, and then we'll just copy everything down. Let me just look if I can copy in place. As a special case, legal copy bytes from a string sliced? Oh. Copy a slice to itself. This is what we want. Hold on. Okay, this is the destination. Yeah, so we want to do copy. We'll do this. Copied and so this will copy the with the precut happened. Like we'll slice the slice, we'll slice the array, and then we'll copy it down basically. And then we know that the server tick represents the first tick every time. And then I'm gonna print out I'm gonna do last tick and p dot server tick. So now every time here we can just append. We don't have to track player tick anymore, which is nice. One less thing to do. There might be cases though where I can't imagine that happening, but I was thinking there might be cases where this gets sliced to 0. Like if we get a server tick, if we're like have almost no latency. Append input buffer. Let's just run this and see what happens. Cut. Declared but not used. That's weird because I'm using it right there. There might be some like, I might have some typo or something. Physics.input format. Yeah, I had a undefined math. I'm amazed I don't have math in here. I guess I have it there. Math rand there. True input. Oh, we'll fumbled that a little bit. F does not match. ECS.map to. Huh. Undefined client. Memo client. Oh, I need to move interp over. Flow interp. Museum. Oh, is there an import cycle? No. What is this in? Oh, I'm in this package. I'm importing myself. And this, we moved it out of this, so we can delete that now. Okay, we're tracking the input buffer, but we're not actually applying it. Like we're not doing any prediction, or we're not doing like any replay. Interesting. Okay, let's look at that really quick. Here? Where did I put this? I put it in here, I think. Yeah, player data. Okay, what does this print out? We do copied. We have the amount that got sliced. We have last tick, and we have p.server tick. That's weird. Weird that they're always 0. I guess that means we're always getting, but how would you cut off that many? That server tick. Let's see here. P.server tick minus last tick. So it's just constantly growing. That's okay. This doesn't return how much got cut. It returns how much is growing. So set tick must not be getting any data then, because tick is being passed in here. And that should be that, which is the third print. So that should be nothing. That means when we do client receive, we use, or where is it? Set tick player data dot set tick t dot tick. Does that mean the server's not tracking this properly? Let's do that. Log.print. Print that. Oh, I guess it didn't connect in time, so that's not good. Did I forget to increment the tick or something? Let's see here. Okay, we should have a server. Oops, this is the wrong one. MMO, network. This is the server networking. So in here we have a server class. When we send updates, we have server.tick, which gets set there. Server.tick +1. I'm kind of surprised this isn't being updated though. I feel like this should work, but let's see. Oh, it must be, oh, it's probably this stupid Certes thing. I really should refactor this. Because what, I have this like internal world update that has to get serialized. Marshall binary. I have like a world update. Type union. Binary world update. This needs to have a tick now. uint 16. And then when I do tick equals world.tick. Huh. Still zeros. Oh, because we are serializing it now, but we need to deserialize it. On Marshall binary. All right. Another try. Now we should get numbers. There we go. Perfect. Only slicing off 306. Yeah. So I need to have some logic in there that's like, oh, if it's like way more. Actually, 306. Because the server is going to keep calculating, and when you join, yeah, this is weird because I'm not really sure how to determine what number to start at. Hey Adarsh, how's it going? Welcome. Hello. How are you doing today? So the server tick's 0, or the last tick's 0, and then you get server tick like 306. And obviously your input buffer is not that big. So I think what you'll do is if p.input buffer, or if cut is greater than, or actually just if cut is less than the length of p.input buffer, then we'll do this. So then the first time you're not going to cut anything, else it's greater. I think I think you just slice the entire thing. Like that. Let's try that. Okay, let's make this an int. It just keeps growing though. Why is it copying so many? Copied? We copied 1300, but the server tick and last tick are just one off. So this is the problem though, is every tick is just one off. Now, because it's the same amount of delta from when you started, which I guess is maybe okay. Like they're just staying kind of in lockstep because everything's timed very similarly. So now that buffer is not going to be getting created, but the buffer needs to be like the size of the lag. That's the weird part. I don't really know how to align the two ticks. I guess you need to do like a ping message and see how long it takes to get back. And then that would tell you how many ticks off you are. Because how else would you know that? Because you have these two things that are just completely out of sync. How do you get that time? 1 over 30 hertz? What do you mean? That's just the speed at which my server is sending network updates. Oh, I did that because that's the speed at which I'm sending network updates. Well, I'm doing my physics. My physics loop runs at 30 hertz. I have a fixed time step for my physics simulation, and then at the end of the physics simulation, I send the network message over. So every frame of the physics simulation, I should be sending a network message. So that's where that came from. So I probably should add a ping message. I probably need to add a ping message that just sends to the server and then sends back, and then that's just how big your input buffer is. I don't know if that's right though. I feel like there should be a better way to do this. I guess you could measure the ping maybe off of the login, but I kind of want to solve this, and then I don't think I'm gonna implement it today, but I do want to have the answer. Or it'd be nice to figure out exactly how I would do this, and then I can do it next time. I think the buffer logic is good. I think just knowing which input you're on is the hard part. Because it's not like when you get 2, if there's already been that delay added in, then you'd be at like 5. Like you would just be 1 ahead, which isn't right. Maybe once you get your first Once you get your first physics tick, it's also weird that these are all very perfectly one off. Like there's almost no jitter. There should be. That's kind of worrisome. Also, it's weird it's so large. I don't understand that. But like the very first frame, what happens is you get... Where's the first one? You get 307, I guess. And it slices the entire buffer. Because you don't know which one you, You don't know which one you logged in at. Like you log in, it sets your position, but then there's some amount of delay before your next message gets there. I could track this on the server. I don't think I need to though. I guess it does make sense that they're all incrementing by one, or that they're all incrementing the consistent amount. Because I'm using TCP, all of the messages get pulled at once, but you could have big chunks of messages coming in. I don't know how to figure out this first starting delay though. I need to think about this. I'll have to think about this offline, I think. I don't know the answer here. But I'm probably gonna end stream here so I can go eat some lunch. And yeah. Thanks everyone for stopping in. It was a good one. Made some progress. We at least started something, so that's good. And yeah, I'll see you next time. So have a good day.